Hi friends, actually, this is Shivakkumar again. Good evening. Actually, many of our friends actually asked me to do video on SAP Agile methodology. I already told actually we have earlier actually SAP. For SAP implementation only, I'm telling. Actually, earlier we have ASAP methodology, that is accelerated SAP methodology, which is nothing but a water flow methodology for any IT projects. So actually, it the all the five steps, I five phases of SAP are interdependent. So actually, the first step, the second stage or phase starting depends on the first stage completion, and third stage starting depends on the second phase completion. So all are interdependent. So that is very important. We cannot simply jump into the second phase without completing the first phase. That is not at all possible in case of water flow ASAP methodology. So I mean that people are telling actually the ASAP methodology is very costlier thing, even though it is a structured or a formalized method for SAP implementation. It is a very costly method, and normally actually in earlier days, actually, people are telling actually SAP is only suitable for big MNCs or big companies or Fortune 500 kind of companies or whereas the mid caps and small scale industries, actually they need to go for another non SAP software to in order to avoid much more investment. To deploy more investment of money thing to avoid those kind of issues. Actually, SAP is not suitable for mid cap and small scale industries, but that is not a true thing. SAP is already introduced, not now. Earlier itself they have introduced three SAP for large scale, SAP for mid scale or mid cap or small scale industries. So actually, SAP is trying to cover in for all the levels of industries. So actually, it is a true fact one. And now, why they need? Actually, after all this SAP, this ASAP methodology will have its own advantage and disadvantages. Then why SAP introduced SAP Activate methodology, which is nothing but Agile methodology or Scrum methodology. So this is because actually it is a very low cost methodology to implement SAP in any kind of industry. Even it is suitable for small scale industry. And second thing, it is a kind of hydration kind of thing. Say for example, we don't want to depend the result of the first phase to in order to start the second phase. I can say in other words, the second phase will not be dependent on the first phase result or completion. Or third phase will not have any direct impact or no dependency for the second phase completion. Like that actually means successive the predecessor phase, right? Actually, will not have any impact on a successive phase. So that is what. And even the team cost is minimum. Team cost and team members or IT investment, no, that is very less compared to ASAP methodology. Because ASAP methodology, we need a separate model consultant, and it's a big team of consultants to work on single project. Whereas actually, this SAP Activate or Agile methodology supports cross-functional consultants to work on the project. So minimum of 10, more than plus or minus 10 consultants is required, and those are they are cross-functional in nature. So that is very one important thing. And let us discuss on the methodology. Actually, SAP is looking for the introduction of SAP Activate in case of S4 HANA cloud implementation or on-premise implementation, or the benefits. So now, actually, as I already told, SAP is now looking for the fast and effective way of delivering the software to their customers or end clients to meet their market demands. Because actually, if you're taking a project for more than 6 or 1 year, then definitely there will be big loss to them. Actually, because every client will, before investing, they need to think on the benefit or profit or advantage in implementing and or automating their day-to-day activity. So this is done by using the implementing SAP Agile methodology. So it is very simple and easy, faster means to achieve the targets. So that's what I mean. To overcome overcome this delay, SAP is working on practical way of implementing agile methodology, so that they could be it could be effective and can be operated on in a short iterative cycle. This iterative method is based on I can say as a lean method, lean principle. I can say actually Toyota, they are telling the methodology of Toyota, they are using lean methodology, they are telling. So the same kind of thing, actually I'm nothing but it's the same kind of thing. So Japanese they are using, so the same method they are using. SAP has followed that, and they are very they devised that SAP activate methodology based on lean principles of software development, and uses elements from Scrum as a implementation methodology. I already told, right, Scrum methodology. So this some Scrum process is based on the development cycle of development cycle of work, which is known as sprints. Sprints, sprints. The sprints as a specified end date, and they do not get extended. Actually, you say for example, if particular phase or particular work is incomplete and it is pending to complete, so we do not want to extend that end of that. We do not want to end that validity or the already determined date to some later date. It is not at all required. We can just close work or phase, and we can jump into the next phase of work or phase of method, implementation. So there should be a definite end date. So we need to strictly adapt to that date, even though the work is not work is incomplete or pending to complete. We cannot worry on that completion. We need to follow, say for example, if say for example Jan 7 2018 will be the end date for the say for example run process in SAP activate methodology. So then actually we need to follow, we need to stick on to that run process. We don't want to get the opinion from the different stakeholders and every end user, because everything, all the information were tied, were closely discussed between the stakeholders and users and everything. And definitely daily meetings are conducted, and everybody in synchronous, everybody in sync with the decisions, and everything was fixed at a earlier date, so that actually the date should not be altered at a later date, or at the when work is going on, right? Actually we cannot change the date. The date fixation is a date fixation, final fixation. So we cannot change that. That is the important thing, whether work is completed or not. That's not matter. That the pending work can be taken place at the later stage of, after implementation is over, and after go live and every day it can be handled to the support team or some other team who is handling that issues. So that was the nature of the Scrum or Activate or Agile methodology. So the sprints are I can say sprints or time box which has a fixed end date. And at the start of each sprint, the team sits together. That's what I'm telling. Daily they are sitting together and discussing on issues and current issues that are activity to be done for the next day. So sit together and pick the high priority task from the list, and do the estimation to meet the sprint goal with the commitment. So they are having commitment, fixed commitment, so they need to reach a goal. The team meets daily, every day, to review the progress of the task and to take appropriate action to complete the pending work. At the end of this each sprint, the team reviews the product and feedback taken from the stakeholders as a lesson to be implemented in the next sprints. So, if the task is not completed for any reason, actually, it may be, it is not predicted, I can say, even though the reason is not known. we cannot care about the reason. It is once decided is decided. That's what. Even though it is not completed, we need to left out and then returned as a product. I mean, we need to mention as a product backlog. Those pending work can be reported as a product backlog. And there are three major roles in Scrum. Actually, every person need to learn that. First one is product owner, and second one is team, and third one is a Scrum owner. So product owner is a one who represents all the stakeholders and customer. He is accountable for maximizing the output and then prioritizing the task and understanding the product futures and identifying the backlogs and reprioritizing the list and ensuring high return on investment. And in Scrum team, there is one product owner, and he or she is completely responsible for quality of work done. Okay, they are solely responsible for work done. It is widely suggested that the role of a product owner and a Scrum Master should not be combined to the same person, means should not be assigned to the same person. Both, both the roles, that is product owner and Scrum Master, right? I told Scrum owner is nothing but a Scrum Master, should be different person. So one person cannot take both the roles. If he is taking that, then definitely there is a confusion, and it will the project will have issues at the end of the phase, or during every phase. And next comes the second role is a team. So the team is nothing but a build team, that is who are working the projects. So build team is responsible for delivering the product at the end of each sprint, and the team consists of small size of not more than 10 people with the cross functional module. That is important. They are not, so, I mean, they are not sticking to one particular model. They are cross functional model consultants. So skill, cross functional skill is highly appreciated, and that is what I'm telling actually in my video on career, pursuing a career in SAP. We cannot stick to one particular model. We need to learn different model. Learning is continuous process in SAP. So that's what I told. And team performs all works like analysis, designing, coding, testing, etc. In earlier days, actually, we have business analyst and designing developer is there, development consultant is there, then programmer is there, then tester is there. But actually, now actually all the work to be done by one single person who knows, even they are involved in documentation also, testing, documentation, designing, analysis, coding, everything done to be done by one single person. That is what I told. Techno functional knowledge is very important. Even though a person is a functional guy, he or she needs to learn technical knowledge. So then only they are able to work on coding part. I cannot say actually I'm a functionalist, I'm a designer, or I'm a tester like that. They cannot tell. They need to work on testing aspect, then coding aspect, programming aspect, documentation aspect, everything they need to work. And team also suggests the product owner the best. Suggests the product owner what are all the best way to accomplish the sprint commitment. At the end of each sprint commitment or activity, what are all the best practices to be done, that should be advised by the team members or team to the product owners. And next comes Scrum Master. So the Scrum Master is totally responsible for managing the Scrum project and enforces the rule to meet the sprint commitment. And a key role of the Scrum Master is to service the team, and he or she need to help the team or protect them from the outside interference, and to help them to remain focused on the goals to be determined, or goals already determined, to avoid the problems occurring or stopping the sprint deliverable. So he or she need to protect the team. He's acting as a I can say actually well-wisher to the team. And the Scrum Master do not manages the people. Please ensure the Scrum Master do not manage the people, or he or she never act as a team lead, but help the team to achieve the business values. That is important. So all the team, in this product owner, Scrum Master, the team, all together they are known as a Scrum team. These three people forming the Scrum team. And phases of agile methodology in our I mean, I already told, actually we have six different phases in my agile, in my S4 HANA why, what, when, merit and advantage video, right? So in that, actually I have explained about the SAP activate methodology phases and everything of SAP implementation, so I don't want to cover it again. And phases of I mean, I can say project baseline and sprint realization, or the I mean, or this phases of SAP implementation in general. And in project baseline phases there are four steps, that is project preparation, envision process, and then functional baseline and evaluation phase. Again, I'm repeating, the project baseline, that is first I can phase, there are four steps. First one is project preparation, envision process, third one is functioning baseline system, and fourth one is evaluation phase. And in the sprint realization, that is second phase of agile implementation, we have some steps, that is our activities to get performed. Those are sprint planning meeting and delta realization, daily status meeting, and sprint demo session and sprint review. Again, I'm telling for the what are the steps or key roles to be done in sprint realization phase. Those are sprint planning meeting and data realization, third one daily status meeting, and fourth one sprint demo session and sprint review. So these are the, I mean, I think actually I have covered to some extent on agile methodology. And now actually I would like to discuss about advantages of agile methodology in SAP implementation. The advantages are fast outcomes, because the no other step is dependent on precisive step. So fast outcomes within 4 weeks of each sprint cycle. And second thing, priority based development as per the client requirement, and hence high satisfaction from the client is achieved. And third one, lower the total IT cost of the IT project is much more reduced. And fourth one, high visibility and measurable results is achieved. Visible, actually the end-to-end process is totally achieved. Every stakeholders or the team is well knowledgeable in the process, they well informed. So each one knows about the project well, measure what are the measures to be done, everything can be understood by all the persons. And as a fifth point, better coordination, and all stakeholders are involved from the initial start of the project. So actually normally, actually in ASF methodology, some people are involved in requirement gathering, some people are in blueprint or as are to be documentation phase, or some people in realization, that is configuration, some people are involved in testing or cutover, some people in say go live and support phases like that. So there be different peoples are, and cross farm in different peoples are required. But here actually project duration is just 4 weeks of time, just I am telling. And actually, so all people are well in, I mean, the daily meeting is conducted, all people are encouraged to work from starting of the project to ending of the project. So better coordination, all stakeholders are involved from the initial start of the project, that is important. And risks are identified at the initial stage or phase itself, and hence the any issues occurring easily can be managed easily. And seventh point, flexibility to adapt the changes in each sprint. So easy adaptive. And fourth, final point, that is eighth point, frequent delivery of software. So these are the benefit of agile development approach that can be that is deployed on SAP. And some common misconceptions that are often voiced on this subject can be, I think actually this video will help you to understand the problems that occur in our day-to-day understanding. And I mean, I already told software is a is changing the face of business today. So, and the speed at which your business can innovate will often be determined by the speed at which a software can change. So, this is very important. And of course, same applies to your competitors. Say whoever can manage change and deliver the value most thing or efficiently will have the commercial edge. So because everything is measured commercially, so cost is a main factor. So quickness and speed or timely completion is very important rather than going for perfectness and delayness in that thing. Applying lean and agile principles will optimize definitely the SAP application development process and remove the wastage or unnecessary times. And I mean it will help us to focus on client requirements, and system of engages was is nearly optimized. So also we have a digital, we are at the digital age and everything to be delivered faster, in even including SAP is much more expected in this phase. So they definitely the agile will have this requirement. So even SAP also we have this kind of thing, and we need to work. I mean, in this agile, actually, we need to work out on the stakeholders, because not everyone is going to think on agile is a good idea and support it. Actually, in fact, many other people will think actually agile is not a good thing actually, because iterative and actually there is no proper completion in each phase, so they are skipping all the phases. But actually we need to help the business to understand each phase and why the agile is skipping that phases before completion of perfect completion, to avoid the delay and avoid the wastages and reduce the investment of IT cost, investment of money in IT. So all this will can be measured with the help of agile implementation. So we need to make the client to understand, and for that actually we need executives or business owners to mingle with users to perfectly advise them in all the ways. And some people will not be happy in that, but for them actually we need to make them to realize the requirement. And we need to tell the people, many people actually they are expecting silver bullet that will cure all the problems with the current process and may quickly become disillusioned, right? Actually they will become disillusioned. And if they, say for example, if the project is not completed, or say for example particular task is not completed, so we need to manage expectations and help the people to understand that adapting agile is a journey and it is a very happy thing, like a journey. And in SAP, we have seen most of the success where there are champions both in management and project teams to help those thing. We need to get the message over and smooth out the inevitable bumps on the journey. So that choosing a right framework is very right example. That right that thing is a scrum, and we need to build a perfect business case. So that is also important. And then we need to we need to work on the small things. Say for example, you can expect to switch over to agile process overnight and assume that everyone will be able to instantly adapt to the new ways of working. So it's a good idea to start on something small and safe, so that each can learn and prove the process. It's okay to make the mistakes, try different approaches and work out what works and what does not. So it depends on your experience. Although the agile is a common approach, it will be applied a slightly different in every organization. So the learning that works best for your specific teams. So a good recipe of adaptation in SAP is to start out, I can say which one team as a nucleus, then branch out to others when you have, when you get it nailed. and when you can demonstrate the success, you can scale it to other teams to get them on board too. So that's a important thing. So you need to work as a mentor, and then reorganize teams around the projects and products. So this is also very important. So traditionally in SAP, we are used to handle over the requirements to development, to who then actually hand over to test teams, and then cycle around the various other teams in an attempt to deliver what was worked for. Agile requires that we address how teams are structured and interact with each other, as there are not detailed spec to work from from your point. So we need to have very open communication, so there is no miscommunication between our communication gap. It should not be there in Agile. So teams are well cooperated, and we need to build a strong trust between the team. So we want to develop, I mean, if you I mean we want development testing to work as a one, with the business representative overseeing things as a product owner and manager. So everything is, I can say, transparent in nature. And successful adoption of Agile in SAP is often seen in the form of many smaller and a multifunctional team working together to deliver the specific related requirements. And for fixes and smaller enhancements, this can work very well. Indeed, as I mean, I can say actually they can be delivered much faster, and more flexibility can be achieved. So we need to, by using the Scrum or Agile methodology, we need to make it work for the large projects also. That is, regardless of the business team size or business process complications. Actually, nothing is a hurdle to create innovation, right? Actually, so that is important. And then we need to create a prioritized backlog. So we need to properly plan for the prioritization and the completion of the job, and organize the sprint meetings properly. Every day we need to assemble together, and all the team members should join, or all the scrum team, say for example product master or scrum master or product owner or a team, everybody should keep it should schedule a meeting and keep it short for 10 to 15 minutes, and we don't want to skip that, and we need to try to solve the problems then and there occurring, and actually we need to discuss the issue then and there to fix the problems on day-to-day basis. So that is important. And we need to plan for the right usage of tools, and what are the tools to be avoided, what tools to be included. So this depends on the skill, experience, and the common channel of communication between the teams. That is very important. So finally, I can conclude, it takes time to adapt and trust the agile process, because actually everything was practiced to follow ASAP methodology of, I mean, for the past 30 years or 3 decades of experience. So in my experience, I can say, I mean, actually, frankly telling, I mean, so far I never worked in a agile methodology. I mean, actually, for the past 15 years, actually, I'm working in ASAP methodology of thing, and actually, even though actually I have gone through all the videos and documentation from that experience, it can it can take at least a year or more than that to process and culture and document the changes needed to make this success. But high levels of engagement and transparency and flexibility and responsiveness are required, and it is very difficult to bring all this I mean, I can say, without arguments, and to accept this all this thing: transparency, flexibility, engagement, dedication, responsiveness is a primary thing to get developed in our habit or in our mindset. That is very important for the success of agile methodology. So I think actually this video will help us, I mean, for help for those people actually who interested to know about agile methodology, and what is SAP Activate kind of thing. Because SAP, I mean, in this video, Actually, I have mentioned SAP Agile methodology, which is which is a fundamental for SAP Activate methodology in S4 HANA, SAP implementation thing. So I think this is very useful. Thanks for listening my videos. This is Shivakkumar signing off.